Okay. All right. Let's get into this.
I want to say one thing to your children. I know some really great ice cream places around. And Daddy owes you. Okay? So talk to me afterwards.
So that's just sick. I like to play that just to remember, just to remind you of the scumbaggery and kid. I'm starting on YouTube, so I gotta be careful with what I say. I'm also not. I'm very under the weather, but what I'm gonna do is last night or yesterday I was watching this video that's been going around for a while. The black conservatives versus white liberals, and then there's these two guys that are real cringe, and they seem to. I believe their names are Jacob and Alec. And then if you look in the comments of this, if you look in the comments, you see everyone's just like, wow, like this guy Alec, who you're about to see, is just outrageous. This is not Alec. These are the two buddies. This is Alec right here. Let me get rid of Black Greta. So this is Alec. Yeah, white liberal. You could just see, like I've said, I'm not going to go over what I said yesterday, but you could just tell. He's got a hat that says Hunter Biden 2024 on it. You can tell what he's trying to do, but the left cannot meme. The left can't meme. This is proof of that. But he has a friend named Jacob who looks like like a pipe bomber. Literally, he looks like he's one of the guys under the Antifa masks who is throwing Molotovs at the police stations and then gets let out the next day in Portland or something like that. I mean, he looks like he's from Portland because he has that like inbred looking face, I guess you could say. All right, let's watch these idiots. This is the end. This isn't the end. It's got like 15 minutes left, but right now we're just gonna see the two guys that I was talking about yesterday, Alec and whatever. You'll see over time. What am I at? 31:41. You'll see here. That's Destiny, and then the kid. Okay, I guess I messed up there. By the Democrat Party. You'll see over time, like these four right here are all the white liberals, and they're arguing with this kid, right? And this guy Jacob with the wanted shirt and some anime, I guess, on it, and then the troll. They don't know each other really, right? But as time goes on, look at this face. Look at the face on this rat. Look at this little rat. I can't zoom in on him. Okay. Well, look, even she's like, she's with him. Like, she's ideologically on his side. She's even backing up. Like, this guy hasn't showered. Look, like his greasy ass hair. He stinks. He's probably, look at his shirt. Anyway, yeah, Jacob White liberal.
To go to Harvard, I think that's quite a myth, in fact. I think those that have the qualities to get to Harvard were, before affirmative action, were just completely overlooked. You know, Clarence Thomas is like the perfect example. You know, regardless of what you think about him, he was able to get to Harvard because of affirmative action, because, you know, it focused on finding people that were, you know, again, like just overlooked for those.
But things ended up changing.
Okay, so now you got a little thing. Now, as time goes by in the video, you'll start to see, look, see, now this is the part of the video where they connect, where they start connecting eyes and agreeing with each other. And then one of them, like, really kisses the other one's ass, like, oh, like, tells, basically, like, states his love for, now they're next to each other. You see what I'm saying?
In my house, where I had an ex-girlfriend that was pregnant.
There's Destiny and Alec next to him.
There was a whole bunch of horrible stuff going on in my life.
I don't.
Very, very lucky.
Is that a Destiny shirt? I'd like to know.
As I started to make more money, I started to pay more taxes.
Alright. But look, now they're next to each other, and then they ended up also, like, I guess in the background together at one point.
Like a class level would uplift proportionally more black people than white people or any other race.
Yeah, I think, like,
so now they're talking to each other. This is what I wanted to watch, because like, these are two nut jobs, and they're and these are 2 out of 4 white liberals that say reparations are necessary. So 6 out of 8, and all 4 black people are back in the back saying no, they're not necessary. And the 2 butt buddies, I guess one of them stepped forward and maybe the other one didn't. I want to see how it works.
Economics, I don't agree with him.
Reparations are necessary.
Alec moves, and then the other guy follows, and then Jacob follows, so they can go sit there and suck each other.
I think that doing reparations in the way that a lot of people think of it, where we just give it to black people. I'm not an expert on this, but I think it would be more income.
Hey guys, on Rumble,
itself, like I said earlier,
if you get it, if you could see the chat,
disproportionately
let me know if you can see the chat.
Because if you recognize that they are disproportionately affected by a systemic injustice, then doing it on like a class level.
Now, I don't know if you guys heard, but this guy and the other guy, Jacob, over time throughout this video became like boyfriend and boyfriend.
Would uplift proportionally more black people than white people or any other race.
Yeah, I think like
and also, like, just if you took all 8 people involved in this and lined them up, you could, and you said, there's two of these people are weird nut jobs, you would have picked both of these people immediately. Especially Jacob's, just the look on his face, you could tell. And then Alec, obviously his hat would give him away, because he's got a pedo's name, and a pedo's son, who's also a pedo, names his hat on his head, thinking he's trolling and being funny, and he's not funny whatsoever. If you let me know in the chat on Rumble there, if you guys can access the chat, let me know if you think it's funny to wear a Hunter Biden 2024 hat. Tell me if that's like funny, like in a trolling way or whatever. I don't think it's funny. Like, the left can't meme. We know that. This guy's trying to be the embodiment of the left can't meme in physical form.
Like black GIs that were left out of like the New Deal, for instance, that to be able to come back and
now Nutjob is a little smarter than Alec,
home loan and then build that generation.
But there's
wealth.
still
you could not get that as a black American. So there needs to be, I think, reparations. I don't care really what form it comes from. I think free healthcare.
They've been given a lot of stuff for years.
Opportunity to educate themselves, to build a better life for themselves.
They have that
So
opportunity.
it's sort of like, and I think
they don't
Germany
choose it.
is also a perfect model to follow.
That's why they got rid of affirmative action, because they're even being given positions and still not choosing them.
Which we haven't even done that. But also just like donating to like different funds, and just I think a more equitable society striving for that is reparations in and of itself.
I have no problems with reparations if they had happened initially during the slavery or the civil rights movement or any of that. But to try and do that now logistically just doesn't really make any sense. And where would this money come from? We're in so much debt
from us,
as a nation.
me.
Would I get this money? I'm biracial or
you guys in the Rumble
Do
chat.
mixed people get it? And do Irish people get reparations?
I don't know if anyone's
they were
in my.
indentured servants?
I think for reparations, if you can find specific
There's no one in my
instances of
YouTube
somebody
chat.
being, actually deprived of something, whether specific instances of the 40 acres and a meal promise, or whether you can find specific cases of Chinese people building railroads or Irish people, whatever, people being deprived of things, that's okay. But otherwise, yeah, it's a logistical nightmare. There's no possible.
See, I like how this is why I don't mind. It's not that I don't mind. I definitely don't like Destiny, but I can respect him without having to call him. I'll call him by the name Destiny, even though that can't be his real name. I mean, his parents would be really fucked up if they named him Destiny. But I mean, that's a girl's name, and let's just be real. But sometimes he just tells the truth. He's like, you know what? No, so you can't hate on him. I mean, you can for many reasons, but in that case, no. I'm surprised that look, now they're across from each other, Alec and Jacob, so they could just look at each other's crotches.
I feel like we have done so much to give back to the communities that were obviously wronged. And I agree with both of you. Had this happened a long time ago, I would understand it. If we had specific incidences that we could trace where people were just completely screwed over, I would respect it. But right now, I don't deserve a payment for something my great-great-great-great-grandparents went through. And I don't think that white people are responsible for paying that to me either.
I know we don't want to use the virtue signaling, but it's sort of like a bribe for a vote in a way, at least in my opinion. In states like California,
I agree,
where they've been throwing around the idea of, oh, we want to pay out
this kid named Chandler is one of the smartest kids I've seen of his. I don't know how old he is. I'm going to say he's 20, 19. He could be maybe a young looking 21, 22, but his hoodie says, "I'm a Vax rebel," in case you can't see it. And he's just based.
In this state, it's like, oh,
in a good way.
Serious? Because this is kind of like a joke, in my opinion.
I think that if we impose reparations now, I think it would rip America apart. I think that we're already.
And this woman Renee is also wonderful,
now you're gonna have
wonderful
people
woman.
Walking around going, you
I would love to meet her.
I'm not paying you any money. It would just really rip us apart.
Giving somebody money doesn't mean anything if they don't know what to do with the money or how to handle it.
And I'm going to leave you guys
So
with a warning at
primary
the end of this.
issue in black culture or with black people is generational trauma, then maybe they need more therapy than they need money, honestly.
Which conservatives are
the girl
also.
in the green shirt's pretty
kind
cute.
of my argument, if there is that generational trauma or whatever, I think examples of free healthcare.
Look at him. He's sweating. He's breathing heavy. He's red. I mean, what more can you say about this guy than scary, creepy, stay away, danger, don't take any candy from him?
Therapist and not be, fall into debt. And I think the argument of the logistical nightmares of it, I think if we want to pay for something in this country, we usually find a way to do it, especially when it comes to the military. So, we pay for multi-billion-dollar jets all the time.
It's not the dollars, it's who's supposed to get them.
Not to attack progressives, but that is the most progressive idea in the world. Is I can see the headlines reparations voted on in Congress to be paid in the form of free therapy for people in the hood. That just sounds like the funniest thing in the world.
Well, I also don't think it's gonna come directly from white person to black person. Your lineage affected his lineage.
It is though. In San Francisco, they were going to raise the average family, or the average household in San Francisco was expected to pay $600,000 each with the $5 million per black person proposal that they had. And I used to live in the San Francisco Bay Area, and I was repulsed by that because you have so many homeless veterans on the streets, and they were going to give black people a home for as little as $1 just for being black. Mind you, slavery wasn't even in California. So why that was going to be the case, I don't understand, but it's extremely
I love this guy. His name is
that
Xavier.
the average family in San Francisco can afford that.
That's because Newsom wants to get reelected.
Okay, but you don't really care about homeless veterans, right?
That's
you don't support
idea.
You don't know
I feel
me.
like all your arguments are ad hominem.
But you're
literally
here as a
every
conservative.
single one
But
ad
you're here as a
hominem.
He's
conservative.
calling him out.
So what policies do you support for homeless veterans?
There's ways to address,
Specifically.
for homeless in general,
That's a whole different conversation.
Yeah.
Okay, let's say that we didn't find a middle ground in there.
Yeah.
All right.
But that's a great ending note.
White liberals have a savior complex.
White liberals have a savior complex. Oh, wow. They're all coming?
Well,
Yeah, and I have
gotta
not
say,
watched
this is a
this.
shock.
I
never
paused
expected
it,
all four
and
of
I
you to
came
come
back to
forward
it.
and admit it, but you know what? I'm happy with these results.
I just think it's a lot of people, I guess, people, of the left, whatever.
I think this Alec,
fall into that.
let me just pause. I think Alec here is the one that has a white savior complex. I don't think that Jacob, who I think is way more nuts and creepy, actually, I don't think he does. I think Alec's the one who has it. And you can see it in his face because he seems just, like, perturbed in a way. Like, he kind of just followed everyone else at that point. Everyone went. We didn't want to be alone. He probably just went that. That's probably how he ended up there. But just look at his face right here. Everything's in your facial expressions when you're in a situation like this. He's looking at him like, shut up, man. Just don't, come on. I thought we were going to, suck each other off after this.
Into that trap of thinking that black people as a monolith need to be saved as a whole.
These
I
two
have
guys
no
are
shame
fucking
about it.
based.
I have a savior complex as an older brother, and
Look.
I will save as a whole. I have no shame about it. I have a
He
savior complex as
interrupted.
To be saved as a whole.
I have no shame.
Totally
about it.
interrupted the
Black
dude.
people as a monolith need to be saved as a whole.
I have no shame about it.
Or was that
I
a
have
cut?
a savior complex as an older brother, and I
Didn't edit
will
it right
save
there.
you whether you like it or not. So that's just me. Your complex
I
as
was
an older
right,
brother,
though. I was right. Listen.
As a whole.
I have no shame about it. I have a savior complex as an older brother, and I will save you whether you like it or not. So that's just me.
Well, it's definitely not, because a lot of us are really just
What a
exhausted of
fucking tool. God. Let me know. Come on, guys. Come on. Give me something in the chat. Someone tell me, what tool is he? Is he a wrench? Is he a fucking screwdriver? Is he a nut? Is he a bolt? That's not a tool. Those are, I'm sorry. Is he a fucking sawzall?
being viewed as our skin color, because when you have this mindset that you need to save black people and we're just sitting here minding our own business and living our lives the way we want to, I don't know why it is that people feel this immense pressure to be so apologetic and just always trying to cater and coddle to black people when we just want to be treated like everybody else. We're equal for a reason.
I think especially recently with a lot of
fuck
riot
you,
stuff
Alec.
that's gone on or protest stuff that's gone on, people on the left tend to infantilize a lot of different types of protesters, and especially even talking to some of the other black content creators I do content with, when you hear a lot of progressives come out and say, well, they don't have a choice but to riot or break into this store, or they're stealing, these electronics or shoes for good reasons, you just don't realize it. I think a lot of people kind of look both ways, and it's a little bit weird that there's such a complex on the left to excuse like every single possible negative behavior from somebody, as long as they're a skin color that you're kind of in charge of protecting.
I find that very offensive.
Yeah.
I find it
Really
extremely, it upsets me to hear that, because we're just like you. We just have a different skin color, and to hear that you have to help me is offensive to me.
Yeah,
I
fuck
can
you,
do it. I
Alec.
can do it on my own.
She looked right
Well, we
at
have
him.
to break down sometimes why these riots happen. MLK once said that
here he
riots are
goes.
the voice of the unheard. So if you are to address the problem and stop the riots, you have to address the underlying inequality that has historically been pervasive. Even if you as individual people are doing fine and you don't want anybody else to get in the way of that, that's cool, and I'm not going to be the one to get in the way, but the disparities are undeniable.
So if you take pride in having like a white savior complex, what is it that you think that you're doing to save black
What
people?
an
And what is it that
idiot.
you're saving black people from?
I am trying to make the world a better place through whatever means I can, and
But you're doing it on the backs of us.
I wouldn't say so.
Yeah, I actually do. I feel like you want to be.
He's literally doing it right now.
Feel good.
No.
That's what
Let's
I'm
give her a
hurting.
clap and
You're not
applause, and
letting
then
me have
we'll
my own voice. You're not letting me
we'll
speak.
You're
rewind.
speaking now?
No,
cutting
I
out?
want to be a savior.
I wouldn't say so.
Yeah, I actually do. I feel like you want to be a savior and you're using me to make yourself feel good. That's what
How
I'm
am I
hearing.
Yes.
you?
You're not letting me have my own voice. You're not letting me speak.
How? You're speaking now?
No,
You're cutting her off.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like I have to.
Yeah. Well, what's
like you
happening?
have
I mean,
to.
you're speaking right now. You're
What?
speaking right now in this particular setting. But what you're saying is, like, you took it back to riots and so forth, and it makes it seem like the only way that we as black people can have a voice is by riots, and then you need to come along and you need to say, okay, poor little black child, let me help you. That's offensive to me. And I feel like you're making yourself feel good.
What a loser.
About trying to tame, help.
There's a guy named Brian Pardalis
I
that's
also
just
think
like
that,
that.
When we talk about damage, I think especially when it comes to a lot of the shoplifting stuff that's going on in certain cities.
New
You get
Jersey.
a lot of white people that live in nice suburbs saying things like shoplifting is no big deal, that's fine, and then you'll catch YouTube videos of them later on being in a Walgreens in like a shoddy neighborhood, and they're like, man, why is the deodorant behind a locked case? It's very easy to sit behind a gated community and say, oh, well, it's not a big deal, they steal because they have to. Riots are the language of the unheard. I think people haven't read the full context of that quote. When MLK was saying riots were the language of the unheard and you need to address the underlying condition, he wasn't condoning the rioting, he was just understanding it.
Obviously, there are a bunch of white people that feel they need to be a savior, but I think there's a difference between helping and saving. Like, I don't need to save black people,
this guy is actually being a helper or a savior to Alec right now. He's trying to lower the burden on Alec at the moment because Alec got fucking wrecked by, and after he said that he needs to be there to save them, and they told him it's offensive right to his face, he does not care. He's, like I said in the last video, he's a narcissist. This guy's a narcissist. He thinks he's he thinks he's funny, but this, he's wearing the outfit with the Hunter Biden hat. He thinks it's a joke. It's funny. We've only watched the end here, but in my last video, we watched the beginning, and he just everything's a joke. That's why they said, why is everything to you, everything you say is ad hominem, I think she said, and it was this whole time. And this guy has his own thing going on. He's not. He's more of a creepy weirdo, but he's not as bad verbally, and he's not expressing probably a lot of the things that he really thinks.
But I would tremendously love to help and make sure everyone has equal outcome, or not equal outcome, but at least equal opportunity.
Look how nervous he is.
In my opinion, I feel we do not have in this country.
This is awkward.
Oh, she wasn't in it?
So I didn't step forward just because I don't want to broad brush all white liberals as having a white savior complex. I have experienced white liberals who do have that, and they're very unpleasant people.
Yeah, there he
I
is.
don't think every single white person who's a liberal,
They put him on screen on purpose. Good editing.
BLM or any of those things necessarily has a white savior complex. I think that there's a lot of white people who genuinely think that black people are oppressed and they want to help, and that's what they're told.
What it seems like to me when most people have savior complexes,
And that's what they're told,
who
yeah.
they're trying to save, it's like they're taking real pain and real trauma and using that as a way to push this political agenda, but also to alleviate themselves of whatever guilt that they feel unnecessarily. Like, I don't know why a white person today would feel guilty for things that happened decades ago, let alone something that happened centuries ago.
I've never seen a white person say, I personally feel guilty for slavery.
I
Maybe they're
promise
out
you I
there,
have.
but I've never heard that.
Yeah, in second grade when they taught us about slavery, almost every kid in my classroom would spend their entire time looking at black kids in that classroom. How was I supposed to not think, wow, these people are feeling guilty for something that they have no involvement in and I have no involvement in?
Every kid in my classroom understood the context.
People hate feeling uncomfortable, and obviously
You don't even remember. He just one-upped him for no reason. Like he just all of a sudden remembered a certain time in his second grade classroom. That kid mentioned his, like, when I was in this blah blah blah, and he just one-upped him on a second grade classroom thing. That's where you know the guy's a deceptive. He's being deceptive. He's a liar. How fast did he have a memory of his second grade class? No, he was being a dick. He was just saying that. He didn't even mean that. He'll go back and be like, that was a joke if you asked him. Oh, you said about your class that blah, blah, blah. He'll be saying, well, I was just joking, and that's him being a dick. But he's not funny. They're not funny. The left can't meme, as usual.
Like, let me make sure that I'm different and I'm showing you that I want to help you, but it comes across I think it can land very poorly.
I'll tell you what, stop it. Stop it. Because what happens is when you put yourself as the white savior, what you do is you elevate yourself above the black person because you feel then like you have to save us. So just stop it. Just treat everybody regular and normal. Just like I would treat you regular and normal, you treat us regular and normal rather than trying to save us.
I just got one thing I wanted to bring up earlier about taxes, because you were saying that you don't you had your job and you were talking about how like you get the tax every time and you're like seeing your tax go up. I worked in nursing homes in 2020 COVID. The last thing that was on my mind when I watched 60 and 70-year-olds on their deathbeds suffocate
Oh, shut
to
up.
death was taxes. I was worried about
Look at his emotional. He's trying to. I don't know if this is the end though, because look, seats were switched. Wasn't she just over here talking? Either way, wait. I want to go. I want to look. Yeah, she was. She was just sitting across. Yeah, they were in different seats. So this might be a call. Wait, is this different? Final thoughts. So these are. Did they move their chairs for final thoughts, or are they just taking a clip? Did I mishear it? Let me go back and listen. I'm sorry, because did I mishear what did they say? All right, these are final thoughts.
You had your one thing I wanted to bring up earlier about taxes. Because you were saying
they didn't say it, so he might have just said this at some
how,
point.
Like, you get the tax every time, and you're like,
I heard this
was taxes.
His emotional response is disgusting.
I go to work every day. That's what I see. That's what I want to fix.
I see you once again elevating yourself above the rest of us, and particularly at me, a white man elevating himself above a black person.
He called me a bootlicker.
He
called me a bootlicker.
Oh no, I triggered them all. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I'm chilling, buddy.
Yes,
so what
you
I
are.
hope comes out of this conversation is that we're all Americans.
What's up,
and
Matt?
Because we're all Americans.
This thing's over now.
We know that America has a bunch of problems, and I think every person here wants to solve the problems. And I think everybody's bringing what they have to the table with their ideas on how to get us to unify. This kind of stuff.
I don't know if you've seen this, but
you
this
got
guy,
something in there. Hopefully, I mean, I'm going to give you the benefit.
this guy right here, this nut, and this
there
dude are the biggest fucking nuts I've ever seen in my life.
Bring all of Americans together. So I
this woman right here has been telling this white guy that you're being offensive. You're a racist. This is a white liberal versus black conservative, right? And he's literally talking over her. He speaks for her. Look at his disdain, and I'm not just talking to you, Matt. I have people on Rumble watching too, so that's I've been streaming on Rumble a lot more lately because I've been getting a lot of views there and nothing here. So anyway, look at the disdain in his eyes looking at her talk. He is so he hates her, and he's been acting like that. You know, this is a 45-minute thing. I watched most of this in my last video, which was on Rumble. For anyone watching on YouTube, on Rumble, I watched the beginning of this, where I, felt more comfortable saying more. And we spoke about this man, Alec, right here, that's wearing Hunter Biden hat. Hunter Biden 2024. He thinks that's funny. Like, that's not a funny hat. Like, that's not a joke. Like, Hunter Biden's a disgusting human being, no matter if you're a leftist or, whatever. Anyway, there's only a minute left of this, and I don't know where I'm going from here, but
of Americans.
UNITY.
I would like to say we're all made in the image of God, and so we all have our inherent worth just because we're made in His image, and we should treat each other as fellow image bearers, not just by the color of our skin. I mean, that's Martin Luther.
I am going to actually go back.
He also did not like capitalism.
Fuck you.
I think something that's really challenging. I've definitely been guilty in the past of throwing around the Uncle Tom word. I used to be hardcore progressive. I'm still relatively progressive. But something that I've learned as time has
Destiny's
gone on
okay.
is being a white person isolates you from a lot of the different types of racial struggles that people go through. And those struggles can take a lot of different forms. Not just, was my ancestor a slave, and not just is my culture bad, but sometimes in the way that, people grow and develop, right? Like, am I actually...
All right, thanks, Destiny. All right, I'm going to go back to this one. I'm going to watch this again. The people on Rumble have already seen this, so they're going to... Maybe they'll... I'll have turnover over there. But this is where this dude, see these two guys right here? There's Jacob in the white shirt, and then there's Alec in the red shirt. Alec is the biggest white savior there is. This guy is like he's like a pipe bomber kind of guy. And they all throughout the whole video, they started not knowing who each other, and then they started like kissing each other's ass while they were sitting here. They end up standing next to each other. They end up sitting here alone together a lot. They end up sitting next to each other. It's pretty funny to see. Other than that, right now we're gonna see this guy Alec get rocked by these people, and he admits that he has a savior complex because he likes to save people, and he's he's gonna use emotion as his excuse, while they all tell him everything you say is an ad hominem, like bullshit. Watch them destroy him, and him still with disdain in his eyes look at them with hate, and it's really disgusting to watch. Watch this. Tell me if my music's too loud over the video, if you could.
Well, I gotta say, this is a shock. I never expected all 4 of you to just come forward and admit it, but you know what? I'm happy with these results.
I just think it's a lot of people, I guess, people, of the left, whatever, can kind of fall into that trap of thinking that,
And right now, like I said, right, they're sitting next to each other. Now he's looking at him with disdain because he's like, shut up, I don't want you to talk, I don't want you to say anything that I don't like. And he's gonna cut him off. He's gonna cut him off and then start talking about himself. Watch.
Can kind of fall into that trap of thinking that, black people as a monolith need to be saved as a whole.
I have no shame about it. I have a savior complex as an older brother, and I will save you whether you like it or not. So that's just me.
Well, it's definitely not, because a lot of us are really just exhausted of being viewed as our skin color. Because when you have this mindset that you need to save black people, and we're just sitting here minding our own business and living our lives the way we want to, I don't know why it is that people feel this immense pressure to be so apologetic and just always trying to cater and coddle to black people when we just want to be treated like everybody else. We're equal for a reason.
I think especially recently with a lot of riot stuff that's gone on or protest stuff that's gone on, people on the left tend to infantilize a lot of different types of protesters, and especially even talking to... I just want to pause for 1 second and explain why I'm just letting this play. I've already watched through this and done commentary on it. My friend Matt has popped in. I wanted him to be able to see this, so I'm just watching this through for the most part. It's short, Some of the other black content creators I do content with, when you hear a lot of progressives come out and say, well, they don't have a choice but to riot or break into the store, or, well, they're stealing, these electronics or shoes for good reasons, you just don't realize it. I think a lot of people kind of look both ways, and it's a little bit weird that there's such a complex on the left to excuse every single possible negative behavior from somebody, as long as they're a skin color that you're kind of in charge of protecting.
I find that very offensive.
Yeah.
I find it extremely...
I love this woman here.
It upsets me to hear that, because we're just like you. We just have...
Now look who she's looking at.
Color. And to hear
she's
that
looking
you have
at
to,
Alec in the red.
Me is offensive to me. I can do it on my own.
Well, we have to break down sometimes why these riots happen. MLK once said that riots are the voice of the unheard. So if you are to address the problem and stop the riots, you have to address the underlying inequality that has historically been pervasive. Even if you as individual people are doing fine and you don't want anybody else to get in the way of that, that's cool, and I'm not gonna be the one to get in the way. But
yes, you are.
The disparities are undeniable.
So if you take pride in having a white savior complex, what is it that you think that you're doing to save black people, and what is it that you think that you're saving black people from?
I am trying to make the world a better place through whatever means I can, and
you're not.
Put it on the backs of us.
I wouldn't say so.
Yeah, I actually do. I feel like you want to be a savior and you're using me to make yourself feel good. That's what I'm
How am I hurting you?
You're not letting me have my own voice. You're not letting me speak.
How? You're speaking now?
No,
you're cutting her off.
Listen to him.
Well,
listen to him.
Yeah.
I
what's
can't
happening?
watch this just a few minutes
That's what I want to
ago.
be a savior
And
and
I
you're
still
using
can't
me
believe this
to
dude.
make yourself. You do. I feel like you want to be a savior and you're using me to make yourself feel good. That's what I'm
How am I
hearing.
hurting you?
You're not letting me have my own voice. You're not letting me speak.
How? You're speaking now?
No,
You're cutting her off.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like I have to.
Yeah. Well, what's happening? I mean, you're speaking right now. You're speaking right now in this particular setting. But what you're saying is, like, you took it back to riots and so forth, and it makes it seem like the only way that we as Black people can have a voice is by riots, and then you need to come along and you need to say, okay, poor little Black child, let me help you, let me help you. That's offensive to me, and I feel like you're making yourself feel good about trying to help us, and
I also think that, like, when we talk about damage, I think especially when it comes to a lot of the shoplifting stuff that's going on in certain cities, you get a lot of white people that live in nice suburbs saying things like shoplifting is no big deal, that's fine, and then you'll catch YouTube videos of them later on being in a Walgreens in like a shoddy neighborhood, and they're like, man, why is the deodorant behind a locked case? It's very easy to sit behind a gated community and say, oh, well, you know, it's not a big deal, you know, they steal because they have to. Riots are the language of the unheard. I think people haven't read the full context of that quote. When MLK was saying riots are the language of the unheard and you need to address the underlying condition, he wasn't condoning the rioting, he was just understanding it.
Obviously, there are a bunch of white people that feel they need to be a savior, but I think there's a difference between helping and saving. Like, I don't think I would need to save Black people, but I would tremendously love to help and make sure everyone has like equal outcome, or not equal outcome, but at least equal opportunity, which in my opinion, I feel we do not have in this country.
This is awkward. Hi guys. So I just stepped forward just because I don't want to broad brush all white liberals as having a white savior complex. I have experienced white liberals who do have that, and they're very unpleasant people. But I don't think every single white person who's a liberal or who is an activist for BLM or any of those things necessarily has a white savior complex. I think that there's a lot of white people who genuinely think that Black people are oppressed and they want to help, and that's what they're told.
What it seems like to me when most people have savior complex, regardless of whom they're trying to save, it's like they're taking real pain and real trauma and using that as a way to push this political agenda, but also to alleviate themselves of whatever guilt that they feel unnecessarily. Like, I don't know why a white person today would feel guilty for things that happened decades ago, let alone something that happened centuries ago.
I've never seen a white person say, I personally feel guilty for slavery. Maybe they're out there, but I've never heard that.
Why would we say
In second
that?
grade, when they taught us about slavery, almost every kid in my classroom would spend their entire time looking at Black kids in that classroom. How was I supposed to not think, wow, these people are feeling guilty for something that they have no involvement in and I have no involvement in?
Every kid in my classroom understood the context.
All right, so he just made that up. I don't know if you heard me already. He just made that up because this guy's talking about an experience he had in his class as a younger Black child in class learning about slavery, and he just happens to remember his second grade class too, and how every kid reacted that day. No, he doesn't. This dude is the biggest joke I've ever seen. The other dude next to him is the second.
People hate feeling uncomfortable, and obviously you don't want to feel like the bad guy, and so I feel like it comes from a place of like, oh well, like, let me make sure that I'm different and like I'm showing you that I want to like help you, but it comes across like I think it can land very poorly.
I'll tell you what, stop it. Stop it. Because what happens is when you put yourself as the white savior, what you do is you elevate yourself above the Black person because you feel then like you have to save us. So just stop it. Just treat everybody regular and normal, just like I would treat you regular and normal. You treat us regular and normal rather than trying to save us.
I just got one thing I wanted to bring up earlier about taxes, because you were saying
all right,
so you had your job.
I'm tired of hearing this asshole's voice, to be honest with you. I didn't do the first part of this on YouTube. I did the first part on Rumble. My Rumble is banned by YT, banned by YouTube. I appreciate the people who watched on Rumble today. I was going to damn, I got like 35 missed calls on my phone right now. People are just calling me off the hook, and I'm not really sure why. But I was gonna end YouTube and go to and finish this on Rumble, but I'm not gonna do that. I'm going to just keep stay on YouTube and Rumble for another few minutes, I guess. Just give me 1 second. I don't know what is happening here. I just oh, that's funny. Yeah, there's someone that kind of like just disappeared out of my life randomly, and other people are telling me it's funny that that person decides to do things when you do them. It's weird that I'm getting messages from insiders. I'm not listening to these things. I don't care. Anyway, so I want to talk real quick about what's going on with how I stream. I'm getting hundreds of views on Rumble, and obviously if you look here on YouTube, no one really watches the videos. My live streams, if I get people in I guess the live chat on Rumble is kind of odd because people don't really use it, but I have I have live viewers every time I go live. I have live viewers and I get a lot more views, and they're paying me. On YouTube, of course, I'm not getting paid. I'm getting banned every time, and I'm not getting many views. I'm still going to use YouTube. I use YouTube for my hockey stuff. I have another channel that's dedicated to the Devils, and and that's starting up in a month. And I really go hard on that. I work for InsideTheRink.com. I'm a writer, so I write for the Devils. So I'm basically press. So I go to games, and I also make videos about hockey. If you're interested, it's called The Devil's Joint, and so I got this new job as a writer for InsideTheRink.com, covering the Devils, which is pretty cool because I don't know. I gotta figure it out, but I'm gonna be getting a press pass and things like that. So it's pretty cool. What do you search on Rumble? I'll just type it here. So with Rumble, like right now, when I first started the video, this video on Rumble, when I first started, like for instance, no one was watching here on YouTube, and I'm not sure, there was probably like 12 or 15 people watching on Rumble at the time. But if you look at the numbers, of the videos that I put up, they're just much better, and people are actually watching, and it's showing me that people are watching like the whole video and everything. So, and then I look at the analytics of my YouTube videos, and there's like one or two people who watch, like you guys who watch, or who watch the live stream. But I'll rarely get people to 20 people to watch it after it's live. But when I do these live streams from Rumble, they seem to be getting out there in the feed of other people's feed. Even though I don't have many followers there, I'm getting a lot more views. Like if they're not gonna follow, I don't care. Like as long as people are watching, that's the point of my internet presence, is bringing a message in any way possible. I'm always trying to bring a message of or teach. I'm not saying people aren't. When I say teach, I'm not saying I'm smarter than anyone, but I like to bring out some things that people might not know about, or talk about things that people might not like to talk about. That's really what I like to do. And when I see I'm getting a lot more engagement somewhere, it's important for me to get it there, because that's the point of what I'm doing. Like I really. Like I've showed you before, Matt, you saw it when I played the videos of the Long Island teachers that were, have this group that were there, trying to teach each other how to push trans ideology in the school, like stuff like that. When I see more people watching, I want to get that stuff out to people. That's what I want people to see. I'm not really so much worried about my own presence, rather than getting people to see things like that and showing them these videos that or putting some commentary to videos that are I guess this one's kind of popular right now. It's going around a little bit. But some of the stuff on Rumble that I do when I don't stream on YouTube is totally different. So with that, I'm going to thank you guys on Rumble. There's a couple of you guys there on Rumble right now, and I think maybe one of you switched. I think maybe Matt switched over into Rumble or something. I don't know. But I have to end this now because I haven't even seen my dog yet today. I need to get him. I will be back though because I don't feel good. I'm gonna go do my thing and walk the dog, and I'll be coming back. Oh, you have to sign in to chat? Is that why? Because I noticed on other channels that there's a lot more videos, a lot more views and stuff like that. But not many people press the like button or leave comments. I noticed that on not on my channel, on my channel too, but on other channels. My channel's new, but even on big channels on Rumble, I'm seeing that there's some of them have like 3.2 thousand likes, not even views, and they only have 4 comments. So I don't know what that's about. I did see YouTube put out something this morning saying like, we're sorry, but they haven't been showing their numbers properly. All their numbers have been messed up. And I said, yeah, that's been happening for months, so anyway, hold on one second. All right, so yeah, Gino. Yeah, Gino. Last time he was sleeping and he didn't even hear my voice. Usually he hears my voice and pops back up, and even if he's asleep, but that didn't happen this time. Anyway, yeah, that's why like I'm getting views and like no likes. You know what I mean? People are that's a little problem with Rumble, I guess. Where you can go view, but you have to sign in to use the live chat or whatever. So when I have these live viewers, like I have right now, there's 4. It usually starts with more. It might be people who just aren't signed in, and so there's like I've even tried to look at my own Rumble thing and not be able to do it, and it's because I wasn't signed in my own account, because I was just trying to look at my own video to see how it sounded and how it looked or whatever. But yeah, okay. So I'm gonna. But Rumble is Matt. Rumble is better. When I stream on Rumble, I say a lot more. I put a lot more commentary into like what I'm doing, or whether if I'm reading books, which I do. Obviously, I started reading this book. I know you said you don't like to be political a lot, but I'm reading this book right now, Liberalism: Find a Cure. Mark Dice book. I'm reading that, and I'm putting a lot more commentary into what my opinions and stuff on there. So it's a lot more. I feel a lot more free to speak my mind over there. So it's fun. So I do a lot of only Rumble videos. Well, not a lot, but I will be doing a lot of only Rumble videos. Anyway, all right. I'll see you later. Thank you for coming in, Matt. And everyone else who has been watching, I appreciate you. I'll be back in a little while. It is Saturday, so it's Truth Saturday. We will be watching shit and telling the truth about it. I think I'm gonna do either police body cam footage. There's 2 of them I know about that I'd want to watch, showing how the police are being given being tipped off on people before they pull them over, and then how they pretend to pull them over, and then they find this large amount of drugs. There's a couple of them where you wouldn't even think the guy's innocent the whole time, and then they find a huge thing of drugs in the car. I watched the whole thing, and I'm like, this fucking cop pulled him over. He pretended he was over the line. He was lying about why he pulled him over. All this crap. You think the cop's a dick, and then they find fucking massive amounts of drugs in his car. He's clearly a drug trafficker, and I want to watch those. So when I come back, I will do. We'll do that. So if you got me on notifications, I will go live, and then I'll wait a little bit before I start doing stuff. I'll just go live and get Gino set up and play my music and show a video or something, and I'll wait and see if anyone pops in, and then I'll just do it and you can watch it later otherwise. Anyway, thanks for being here. I appreciate everyone, and hopefully before it gets too cold out, Matt, we could meet up. We can meet up at the ferry over there, like you said. So we'll talk about that soon too. Anyway, it's been fun. Talk to you later.